Now to hits and misses. Trump's Spotify playlist has been revealed. Is Trump a Swiftie? Yeah, right. We'll go through some of his favorite songs. Plus, Anthony Anderson's show, Grownish, has returned for its final season, and it's, of course, marked with controversy, talks about racism. Well, let's bring in our panel to discuss these topics and more. Former managing editor, Forbes magazine, media strategist, and host of the podcast, What's Bugging Me, Dennis Neal. Also with us, political activist and publicist Whitley Yates. Thank you, guys. Dennis, let's start off with you. According to a new report by Axios, President Trump likes to play DJ at his Mar-a-Lago home. They revealed some of his favorite songs are Elvis Presley, Suspicious Minds, Lionel Richie, Hello, and Sinead O'Connor's Nothing Compares to You. What do you think of his music choice? I mean, I wouldn't have pictured him a Lionel Richie fan, and definitely not a Sinead O'Connor. The Elvis, I get.
I wouldn't have pictured him insisting on being in control of his iPad and instead of delegating that to someone else. And so that means these songs are chosen for a reason. So then the next level is, well, is it just because that's what he kind of heard at times in your life when you're happy? Or is it because of those titles? Suspicious Minds, that's really quite appropriate for him. You can't always get what you want. Man, he wants that presidency, and will he get it back? I mean, does he pick him for inspiration or because of the goosebumps and the past experience that we link our favorite songs to?
And Whitley, what did you make of that list there of his favorite Spotify songs?
I would love to hear some Mar-a-Lago music. I mean, I was expecting Tiger to be on that playlist. I was expecting a little bit of, God Bless America, maybe some Garth Brooks. I was expecting a little more variety. I am happy to hear that he's listening to Lionel Richie. I think it's really fun when we can really humanize some of our politicians and our world leaders. To know that we have some similar music choices kind of gives me a little smile. And I'm wondering what else is on his playlist. And if I could go ahead and download that Spotify playlist.
I know, it would be a hit. Now you just gave another marketing plan right there. Back in my day, we used to do mixtapes. Dennis, you know about that. Remember, you'd wait, you'd have the tape in the radio, and then as soon as it played, you'd hit it, and then you'd give it to your friends, and you'd write down, here's my favorite songs. Here's
that mixtape was a real commitment. That was a real wonderful way to go. And yet today, it's so easy that it doesn't mean as much when you give somebody a list of digital songs that are assembled in seconds. Just the one thing about this Trump story, though, is I hope this leak was authorized by his friends instead of a leak by an insider that next is going to tell you what kind of programming he watches on his laptop.
All right. Here's another story for you guys. A federal judge denied New York County executive here in Nassau County, Bruce Blakeman's request to block a cease and desist order issued by Attorney General Letitia James. Blakeman was simply trying to protect girls' sports, and he was trying to prevent biological men who pretend that they are girls from playing on all girls' teams. Why is the Attorney General so obsessed with these kind of woke causes? There are so many more pressing issues going on here, especially in New York. And then a study just came out regarding transgender youth. They outgrow it. They outgrow it. There's been numerous studies about it. So, Dennis, your take on this.
My gosh, look, this isn't just the Attorney General doing this. This is our entire government, our Biden administration, our society, campus and universities. I mean, why is it that trans, which makes up 6 persons out of 1,000, has become the new special class of oppressed people? It is a myth that there's trans murder. It's actually only 1/3 as high as the murder rate of Americans overall. All of this stuff and there's a bigger agenda here. It's not about marketing. Whites are 58% of the market, and yet whites are, forbidden to be used in advertising practically anymore. This is about once you create a class like that and you can bend and break rules all over the place for them, you now have broken down rules that used to be honored by all of society. And now instead, you're bad if you push for what used to be and not let men in women's locker rooms. And why is a federal judge ruling in a state AG county executive case? I say let him fight it out in court, because this county executive is in the right.
Absolutely. Whitley, I'll give you a minute left. I was going to bring up this story, Anthony Anderson show, Grownish. It came back for its last season. They made a lot of anti-white statements. In one scene, they're talking about an anonymous graffiti artist, and they conclude that he must be white because he's damaging public property. Then they were talking about that, black people should only buy from companies that are black owned. What do you think about this? Why is it okay for people to be, anti-white? Should we not be, judged by the content of our character? This kind of obsession by Hollywood to really hyper focus on skin color.
I think it's interesting that it is in its last season because they have done a lot of shows that I believe have been damaging not only to his brand, but to the brand that he was intending to build. And so as we look at this in its final season and all the controversy that it has caused, I think it's good for us to say good riddance to Grownish and any other franchise that has the ish on it, because it's been a lot of ish that we've been watching lately.
All right. We'll have to leave it right there. Whitley Yates, Dennis Neal, thank you both so much for joining us.